So hi there everybody and welcome to the Voosestore YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about gimbals and the state of gimbals in the fall of 2018. I have actually also planned, this is a t-shirt from Moza that I got from IBC. I'm not sponsored by Moza, but it did give me a t-shirt, and there is a gimbal on the backside as well, so I thought why not bring it today, because I wanted to talk about gimbals. I am actually standing at the gimbal section. Here I have a gimbal from Zhiyun, and here is a Moza Air X. And today I would like to talk about the state of the gimbals in 2018. And this is very interesting for me, because if you would have asked me 2 months ago what's happening with gimbals, I would probably say, well, probably not much. I mean, we did get the Dji Ronin-S a couple of months ago, and we have made a review of that, and it's probably my favorite gimbal so far in many ways. The only thing, it's a little bit heavy, so if you were looking for a lighter gimbal, I would probably look at the Moza Air X, which is a very nice gimbal coming in at more or less 900 grams, but that was 2 months ago. And today, in the fall or October of 2018, I don't know if you would ask me which gimbal should I buy, if I would say the same thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know that the Air X and the Dji Ronin-S still are fantastic gimbals, and Zhiyun also makes fantastic gimbals, but they're more or less basically the same. But the cool thing here is that we had IBC in Amsterdam a couple of weeks ago where we attended, and we were actually supposed to go to the Photokina, which is more or less right now, I think, to see like the Panasonic events and talk to Moza and DJI and Zhiyun and stuff like that. But we couldn't do that, I'm afraid. But still, with the power of internet, we know more or less what's happening there. And the cool thing here is that when we were at IBC, we did try out the Zhiyun Crane 3, which I really loved. We did try out the Zhiyun Webill, which seems to be a really nice gimbal, coming in at more or less 1 kilo. So it's maybe a lighter gimbal made for smaller types of cameras. With that said, it could take a 5D. But since then, now at Photokina, I know that Goodson, who makes Moza, they did announce the Moza Air 2, which is more or less a clone of the Dji Ronin-S. And the problem with Dji Ronin-S is that they haven't made enough of them, which is really sad, because I know that we have a lot of customers that still are waiting for theirs, and a lot of them actually put an order for them like a month ago or more than that. So we're actually waiting for that. But in the waiting for the Dji Ronin-S, Moza Air, or Goodson, who makes the Moza Air, they announced the Moza Air 2, and the Moza Air 2 basically looks and has more or less the same features as the Dji Ronin-S. So I don't know how many people will maybe switch their orders from the Dji Ronin-S to maybe a gimbal like the Moza Air 2 that is to be continued. I don't know about the build of that gimbal either. And it's gonna be a little bit cheaper. But with that said, they are quite alike, and that's the big difference between the new Zhiyun Cranes. And that's the cool thing, because the Zhiyun Crane 3 is made in a manner that you're supposed to hold the gimbal more or less on your body, and not like a one-handled gimbal that you hold outside. And that's a big difference between the older version of the gimbals, where you have two handles and you hold it more or less outside your body as well. And that also gives a big strain on your back, which is a little bit of a problem. So I think that Zhiyun has done a very good job of recognizing that maybe a gimbal shouldn't be worn in a manner where you have your hand outside, because it is a lot of strain for your body. And the cool thing here is that now at Photokina, even Goodson, the Moza makers, sorry, I have to have a little bit of coffee. Now even Goodson, they had an announcement, I think it was yesterday, that they are making a gimbal called the Moza Air X or 10, or yeah, thank you Apple for that one, not knowing if it's an X or a 10, but still, yeah, the Moza Air X, I'm gonna say. And that gimbal seems very innovative as well. I mean, it looks to be a gimbal that you can hold your body like the Zhiyun Crane 3. You can hold it outside your hand as the normal gimbals, and you can actually put it on a slider as well, so it feels like the Moza Air X is like a full system where you can like do controlled shots with the slider and stuff like that. You can have it on your body for bigger types of cameras. I think the payload was like 6 kilos or something like that, which is crazy. So that's really good news for us filmmakers, because we're getting all these options now in the late 2018 that we didn't have like only 3 months ago. So it's really nice to see that these companies are innovating. And when I saw the Air 2, I was like, okay, this is a Ronin-S clone. It's going to be a little bit cheaper. It will probably sell a lot of units. But when I saw the Air 10, I was like, okay, this is something totally new. I mean, it's close to the Crane 3, but it has a lot of features that the Crane 3 doesn't seem to have. But the Crane 3 also has like HDMI output and stuff like that to a monitor from the gimbal, which seems to be very cool. So if you would ask me on which gimbal to get in the fall of 2018, and I have to say a lot of these gimbals aren't out for sale yet. They will probably come out in the near future, I think in the following months. If you would ask me which gimbal should I get, that would be a very hard question for me to answer, because you have all these different options. Depends on, of course, which camera you have. Depends on the weight of your setup. So if even if you are shooting like with a lighter type of camera, maybe you have like microphones and monitors and stuff like that. So I mean, it's gonna be harder and harder to know which gimbal people should buy or should get. So yeah, those were my thoughts, and it's really nice to see that companies are innovating, because 2 months ago we didn't have the Zhiyun Crane 3, which looks great, or the Moza Air X, which is, I don't know when it's gonna come out, but it is announced now. So it's really nice to see what DJI is gonna do in the future, because the Crane 3 and the Moza Air 10 or X is probably going to take customers from the Dji Ronin-2, which is a great gimbal, but it is very expensive. So yeah, hard stuff, a lot of things to think about. I'm gonna continue drinking my coffee, not knowing which gimbals to get, but as far as right now, still Dji Ronin-S, for me at least, is the best gimbal. It is a bit heavy. If you need another gimbal which is lighter, I would go with the Moza Air Cross, because it's so nimble. You can bring it on wherever you go. But yeah, 2018, gimbal year. Who would have known just 2 months ago? If you have any questions for us, please feel free to leave them at the comments, like this video, and please follow us for more videos like this. And we're really looking forward to getting in the Moza Air 2, which I would say is more or less of a clone of the Dji Ronin-S, and putting them side by side, because they are so similar. The only thing that we know right now is that the Moza Air 2 is going to be a little bit cheaper. I think it's more or less $100 cheaper, and I don't know how that translates to your currency, but it is what it is. So yeah, thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye bye.